Yeah. Run It Back Nation, Sixers Nation. What is going on? I am here with MikeSportsVibezBallin and NZ for 3. And we got some Sixers stuff to talk about. If you guys have been enjoying your summer and you haven't been paying attention too much because you've just been having a good time and having positive vibes, we're here to bring Sixers back into your life, and you're going to love it. There's a couple things we got to talk about. There's a Joel Embiid article that was written yesterday that is the main topic, at least on Twitter right now. Paul George had surgery on his knee. Just put that in his name somewhere. And then we're going to talk about probably VJ Edgecombe and the Summer League and maybe, what players we could see playing on the squad this season. How you guys feeling, man? Mike, what's up?
Yeah, reading the article, man, you got me feeling some type of way. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand showing sympathy and all that, but like, still at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the team and I want to win. And I understand that what really got me right was when he was talking about his brother that passed. His brother passed away on draft day, I believe, and he blames himself for that. And I'm like, gosh, Lee, like. And then the dude, I forgot what's his name? He was
Marcus
talking about
Hayes.
him. Yeah, had the nerve, no sympathy, no empathy, no type of heart. Talk about the man on the court. Don't talk about his personal life. And I understand where Joel Embiid is going with it. And then it's like the Sixer organ. I'm trying not to go too long. Yeah. I understand where Joel Embiid is coming from when it comes to the Sixer organization. Like, he's talking about he's depressed. He's eating like crazy, about to be 300 pounds, eating, you know what I mean? Just eating all crazy. Didn't matter about his diet. His foot was messed up, and they were trying to tell him to get on the court, but he's saying, y'all don't know my body. I'm going to still do me. I'm going to just be a jackass and just be like, yo, I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Because I know my body, and I'm not risking my foot. My foot is jacked up, and he did need surgery on his foot, I believe. So it's just like, the organization not really having his back and just saying that he's lazy when he really was hurt. And it goes to show you this organization. I love the Sixers, but they're so unorganized. They're so unreal when it comes to things. And it's like they don't know how to manage the players better. Everybody, you got to manage the play. Each player needs to be managed differently, especially when you have a superstar like Joel Embiid. Like, everybody got it. They get treated differently. If the better you are, you get treated a little bit differently. They wasn't showing him no mercy in the like when it comes to his foot and all that, trying to say he's lazy. So yeah.
I mean, like it was right from the jump from that, that article. What stood out to me the most, I don't know if you guys remember, it was the part where he was complaining about, something being wrong with his foot. They were dismissing him. And then it was revealed that it was an intern who was running his rehab process. So that was ridiculous to me because they knew they drafted a guy with some injury problems. They did not prepare for that ahead of time. And that is just the most 76ers thing of all time, to just be that just to be that delusional when it comes to managing your players, and just the entire lackadaisical approach. Like, we all know that the Sixers, they have no idea what they're doing when it comes to, building good rosters, managing players, and all of that. But having more of that hard evidence, it just takes it to a new level of absurdity. And just about the article in general, I read the entire thing. It was long, it was detailed, and I think my biggest takeaway from it the most was, yes, the Sixers are the most incompetent, brain-dead organization of all time. And my respect for Joel Embiid just went up so much higher after reading it. There's been a lot of debate about, feeling bad for him and whether it was like a PR stunt or something. But the fact that, they really nailed it home just how much of a miracle it was that he was even able to rise to an MVP status in the first place, given all this new, all these new details about his relationship with the team, how he was feeling at the time, everything else going around in his personal life, like starting the game of basketball at the age of 16, learning all that, man. Like, it's just crazy the way he developed the way he was, and it could have gone completely south. But yeah, man, my respect for Embiid definitely went up after reading that.
Yeah, it could have. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I think I think Joel Embiid. I've said this before. Joel Embiid's a genius in his own right, and he doesn't realize it. But picking up a basketball and only playing for that amount of years at his size and learning how to dribble and shoot the way that he did, he has, like, I don't know what the word for it is. I want to say photographic memory, but it's like he can look at something and he can look at a clip of Hakeem Olajuwon and be like, oh, I can do that, and just hit a dream shake perfectly. You know what I mean? So I think he was extremely gifted, not just physically, but in some mental areas. And yeah, it took hard work for him to get there, and I never discredit him for playing through injury. My only slight against him ever is that he's always injured, and I always say that I don't think it's his fault. A lot of these are, he gets elbowed in the face, he gets shouldered in the face by his own teammate, a thumb ligament randomly. There's just so much stuff. I don't know how to describe an injury bug, but he's definitely had it, and the article, to me, I have an issue with the article. And that's why I'm having a debate back and forth for like 2 days on Twitter, because when people read the article, what happened was now you're not allowed to criticize Joel Embiid at all because this guy got insight into his life, and we all have to have empathy and feel bad for him, and now there's no. And I'm like, that doesn't change the fact that I need guys on the court that can play the game and win the game. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it was a nice article. It was also one-sided. You can't really take all of that stuff, I don't think, and just put it down as fact just because the guy interviewing Joel Embiid said it or Joel Embiid said it, So there was a lot of things in there like that I was like, okay, that sounds perfect if you wanted to say it that way, and you want it. I hate to say it, but it came off as a bit of a puff piece to me. It came off as a bit of a, I don't know if PR stunt is the right word, but that's what it felt like to me. If you're only going to do an interview with a friend that, is from the same place as you and is going to ask you the questions that you want him to ask you, and your answers can't be debated, I don't know, what can I really take from this? You know what I mean? And I think my initial reaction was negative because I thought I was going to get a Joel Embiid interview where he was going to talk about his injury last year and what we can expect this year. And I start reading it, and I'm reading the most overly descriptive thing I've ever read in my life. And I'm not slandering it, but
so long.
I skipped through it. I didn't read it all.
What I'm saying is, like, I mean, people are just saying this is the most beautifully written article, dude. I can do that same thing. I don't want to slander the guy that wrote it, but it's not as miraculous as everyone is making it sound. You know what I mean? It's just not. Here, I can do the same thing. Are you ready?
Oh.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Listen, from the top. This is the beginning. Soft, warm, comfortable. The $20,000 couch beneath me as I sit patiently waiting in a mansion in a suburb of Philadelphia for the man, the legend, who only allowed me to ask him questions. A 7-foot figure emerges around the corner. His stature intimidating to most. Like, what the fuck am I reading, dude? That's how I felt.
Like a Lord of the Rings
book,
book,
to the
bro.
goddamn interview.
I get that.
It pissed me off. And then I saw on the internet everyone loved it, and I was like, I guess I'm out, dude. I don't know. It wasn't for me personally, I guess. I just didn't care that the guy went through the most descriptive shit ever to get to the point. And it didn't impress me as much as I think it impressed everybody else. That's my honest take on it. And then, like Mike, you just said, he's stressed out, depressed from the Sixers organization, and now he's eating crazy. Like, is he eating crazy because of the Sixers organization? Has he always eaten crazy?
That too.
He's talking about eating 10 chicken sandwiches on an airplane and drinking
Shirley Temples.
Drinking Shirley Temples. He's always bragged about having a shitty diet, and then he comes into the season out of shape every year. And now I'm not allowed to say that because some guy wrote something that sounded like a mystery novel. I just don't get it. That's where I'm at. And I love Joel Embiid. I love what he's done for the Sixers, but he's not free of criticism. And now because some guy wrote this super descriptive 40-page ESPN article, there's no Joel Embiid criticism whatsoever, and nothing is his fault. That's what. So now, the Mikey Miss clip that came out, people are on Twitter ripping him to shreds. How could you say this? How could you say that? And I'm listening to this, and I'm like, I think he's right. I don't understand. Maybe Twitter is a different era, the new age, the Gen Z or Gen X or whatever it is, and maybe I'm one of these old haters now. I don't know.
No.
But that's my take on it.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. Look, I personally, I did not get that impression. I thought it was just like, it was definitely really informative and descriptive for sure, and a lot, like just a ton of details, like whether it was about Embiid's personal life or his relationship with the 76ers, all of that. I mean, I liked it. I read the entire thing, and I don't think I got the impression, at least, that it was meant for like everyone to feel bad about Embiid, because at least from what I read, there were certain sections where he was taking some accountability. Like Eastwood, you mentioned how like he was bragging about his diet and stuff, and I think there was a part of it where, even the writer, he mentioned, you're drinking like Shirley Temples and getting like foot rubs on the bench while you're eating cheeseburgers and stuff. And Embiid was admitting like, yeah, I was younger, I kind of grew up a little bit. That piece was in the article, and yeah, when the Mikey Miss, blurb, I kind of agree with that message as well. And I was thinking about it, and it made me think back to another piece in the article where he was talking about Embiid, like his leadership style, because Embiid isn't really that like boisterous of a leader as other players in the league, kind of like, or like a Chris Paul type. He kind of likes to just do it on the court, like lead by kind of like example, just on the court, sort of like like same way like Kevin Durant said, like he's just not really an upfront kind of leader. And I was kind of saying, well, yeah, it's okay to have that approach, but you need to be on the court in order to do that. You know what I mean? And there were some, debates and questions surrounding Embiid and how involved he is with, the team and his teammates and stuff like that. So I definitely think the Embiid criticism, of course, because of all of that, I think it's definitely warranted, because he's not, he is definitely at fault for some of the Sixers' failures over this entire tenure. But when it comes to just all of the freak injuries and, just the organization, not like, I think a part of it that came with it was the fact that, it was the coaching staff, the medical staff, the front office. They're sort of already dismissing him just because they're so frustrated. They had no idea how to deal with his injuries. And I think that would definitely impact his psyche a lot, given that, he's coming all the way to the U.S., starting his basketball career. And he wanted to stay at Kansas originally. He thought he was not ready yet. So already being drafted, expected to be the top guy on the team, and already sort of being rejected because of something that is pretty much out of your control. I can understand that to an extent, but definitely for sure, I think the Embiid criticism is still warranted, but it definitely gave a really good insight into just his perspective with all of it, because we really don't get that all the time. We kind of get just like a lot of what these media heads are saying. And of course, what they say, some of it is valid, but I think to have that perspective as well definitely evens things out a bit.
Oh man, I don't even know where to start, man. I'm kind of like Joel Embiid when it comes to being an introvert. Like, he kind of stays to himself, and then once someone does something, you like, man, kick rocks, I don't even want to deal with you. Mm-hmm. And that's just his mindset. And the one part in the article that really stood out was when he was talking about when they had like the team meeting with Ty, and everything came out with the Tyrese Maxey calling them out, and then he's like, man, we still got. In other words, the snitch is still on the team, so I want to know who the snitch is, who put it all out there, so everybody can know that Tyrese Maxey called out Joel, and then Joel Embiid is like, I don't want to go to no more team meetings. If I gotta go to team, if we go to a team meeting and that guy's in there, I know it's going to come out. Whatever we talk about, that snitch, that player, is no trust. Once you lose trust. But he is the best player. So he has to take accountability, though. He has to take accountability. And I get what Eastwood is saying. Like, at the end of the day, I know another part of the article, he was talking about winning. He was talking about Allen Iverson not winning. He was talking about Charles Barkley not winning. And I understand that. And there's still great players. There's players that won championships that were bench warmers. What that makes them better than Joel Embiid? We know that's not true. Tracy McGrady didn't win. Right. A lot of players didn't win.
Yeah.
But my whole thing, Joel Embiid, and I think he said, correct me if I'm wrong, did he say something about like Philly fans just love to be mad? Is there a quote in there that he said something like that?
I think that was a Daryl Morey quote when he was at like that sports analytics.
That was Daryl Morey.
Like,
I was about to say Joel Embiid. It's not even that, but Daryl Morey, it's not even that. It's because I think a lot of people mistake Philadelphia fans as just being mad and angry for passionate fans. Like, we want to freaking win. We haven't won since 1983 with Julius Erving.
Exactly.
That's 40 plus years.
Are Eagles fans mad right now? Are Eagles fans angry? No. Are Phillies fans angry? I mean, maybe ups and downs throughout the season, but they've been a contender now for a couple years, and they still feel like they have a shot. Sixers fans are angry because they suck all the time, dude. What are we supposed to do?
High expectations. This team folds under pressure. Like, and the thing about it, Joel Embiid, you bringing up Allen Iverson, you bringing up Charles Barkley. Let's go to AI for a second. AI Brown, I'm not coming at no specific players, but he had Dikembe Mutombo, RIP to him. Who was his best player that he brought to the 2001 finals? You know what I mean? AI is like 6 foot.
Aaron
McKee. He brought them to the freaking finals, bro. We haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals since 2001, Joel Embiid. So the reason why a lot of fans are just like, man, I don't even want to hear all this. I want you to be healthy, be in shape for the start of the season, and we want to win a dang on championship. Take accountability when it comes to that part. That's all we care about. We're not talking about your personal life. We're not going to do all that, but we want to win. We just want to win. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And you will be held accountable. If you're not playing, if you're not in shape, us Philly fans ain't playing. We're going to call you out for what we see. If you play good, you won't got nothing to worry about.
That's what I'm saying, man. I agree. First of all, the snitch thing. You know, that's like if you show up late to work every day and then you have a meeting and your boss is like, hey, you're late to work every day. And you're like, you know what? I'm not coming to any more meetings if all you're going to talk about is how I'm late to work every day. No, you're late for work, bro. You know what I mean? So, somebody snitched, but Tyrese Maxey called you out for being late to practice or not being at practice at all and not being a leader. He should have been talking about that. I need to be a better leader. I shouldn't be a guy that's missing practice or being late to film study or whatever. Instead, he's calling out who's the snitch. I don't care who the snitch is. You know
he knows who the snitch is. He just won't tell it in the interview. He knows who the snitch is.
But saying something like that tells me that like maybe he does have that mentality that people say he has, which is deflecting and blaming others and not taking accountability. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I never talked about Joel Embiid as lacking effort. I watched him play through injuries his whole career. I've always defended him for playing through injuries. He comes back from knee surgery before he probably should have and averaged 30 and 10 against the Knicks, and Tobias Harris couldn't score a fucking point in Game 6. There's always, I never question him getting on the court and playing through injuries. But I guess, like, the offseason preparation and making sure you're ready to go, the two things can be true. Yeah, you play through injuries all the time. You want to be on the court. You want to be winning. But you also might not be preparing yourself correctly when it comes to working out and practice and off-season regimen and things like that. If he's just rehabbing all summer, remember the one off-season he made a joke? The guy's like, "What'd you do all summer?" He was like, "Nothing." And then he came out for like a month and a half and was trash. And we were like, "Well, I guess he didn't do anything all summer." Like both of these things are true.
He was ramping up.
So like that's just how I feel about it. And I understand. He's tired of people saying he's not dedicated, but he's looking at it like I play through injuries, I'm dedicated. And like, I don't think that's what people are really saying. I think every season you look like you're out of shape and then you get hurt. I feel like I see both sides, and one thing being true doesn't negate the other thing. And like, I think Joel Embiid's always had a bad diet. I think he was such a gifted athlete that he never had to go that extra mile with his diet or anything to be as good as he was. And I feel like he felt like, I'm this good. I don't need to do this. I don't need to go to practice. I don't need to, you know what I mean? So I think that's how I feel about it.
I think a lot of it too, it just has to do with the freak injuries that he has endured that I think is regardless of conditioning, like getting elbowed in the face by Pascal Siakam, having, I forgot the Warriors player that fell on his knee. Bro, Embiid during that 2024 season, they were 26-7. It was right after the James Harden trade. They just got a bunch of role players like Robert Covington coming back, Nick Batum. It was just Embiid, Maxey, a bunch of role players. Embiid, that was the peak of Joel Embiid right there. He was on pace to outscore like Wilt Chamberlain when it came to points per minute, like consecutive 30-point game records, like doing stuff that Kareem was doing. He was at his peak form in the Sixers. They were looking like a playoff contender because we finally found out that, when you surround Embiid with just a bunch of smart role players like Nick Batum instead of these ball-dominant stars that really don't do anything else, like whether it's James Harden always demanding the ball and not being that good on the defensive end, or Ben Simmons being good on the defensive end but being a complete liability offensively, having him with just a bunch of smart guys that know how to play their role and can space the floor, it can really work out. And yeah, Kelly Oubre, he is not, he's definitely a very controversial Sixers player, but he was doing well that season. And the Sixers, they had a decent record, 26-7, and Embiid was balling out, but then someone just falls on his knee, and it's just terrible luck that he has had to endure year after year. Now, then again, there were some comments, him throwing Ben Simmons under the bus, that's what they call it. That was 100% warranted. Ben Simmons,
what did he say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He was saying it was like the turning point when he passed up the dunk. That was the turning point in the series. That was 100% warranted. Ben Simmons quit on the team. He never cared. He cared more about being a Call of Duty streamer than really succeeding in the NBA. And then, but the James Harden one, or when they lost to the Celtics, when Harden and Embiid, they floundered, the entire team floundered. I don't think Embiid was 100% healthy, but regardless, it was embarrassing. He was saying, James and I can't do it alone, but hey, you're the leader of the team, man. We rely on you. The 76ers are nothing without Joel Embiid. We could talk all we want about the roster construction and whatever, but Embiid at his peak when he is healthy, that is what makes the 76ers a contender. And to say that, I understand that, the flack when it comes to that, you do need to be taking accountability for that, but it's not, let's just say that Embiid, he has had to deal with a lot of head cases when it came to some of his teammates.
But
yeah, he has. Go ahead, Mike.
I just look at it like this: the things that he can control, he can't control the freak injuries, but what can he control? His health, when it comes to, his weight. His weight. So, because some of the times, in my opinion, if you're overweight and you're falling down so much, maybe it's more pressure on your ligaments in your knee or your ankle or something. So, or you land wrong and you mess up your hand or your wrist or your elbow, because you have all that additional weight. So he can control his diet. You're a multi-millionaire. Go get you a chef, bro. Go get you a personal chef to manage your diet.
He knows what he should be eating. He's not stupid.
Yeah,
No,
he can control that.
He doesn't need a dietitian to tell him what to eat. He knows what to eat. He chooses not to do that. You know what I mean? Because he loves, whatever. He loves, we're all, we could all relate to that. If we want to be in the best shape we could possibly be, we know what to eat, but we want to go eat a cheeseburger and have some beers. You know what I mean? And that's, I feel like that's how he lives. He's like, I'm good enough. I want to eat this,
Right. But what I was saying was that, during that 2024 season, the season before, this one, when right after the James Harden trade, he was playing so well and it was looking so good that we finally figured out, hey, just surround him with a bunch of smart role players and let him and Maxey do the rest. Let them, develop together for the future. But then someone just falls on his knee, man. This stuff just kind of happens. There's always this dark cloud around the organization, whether it's stuff that's in their control, out of their control. And I think 10 years from now, when the Embiid era is all said and done, we're going to be saying, the Sixers, they could never really succeed because Joel Embiid could just not get healthy. And a lot of the organizational moves, those were not good at all, like signing Tobias Harris to a max contract, the Paul George move. We could always talk about that, but I think Embiid, Jimmy Butler, not bringing him back, just all of that stuff, I feel like that is secondary, like in the grand scheme of things, when compared to Embiid being healthy, because when he is healthy, he's a top 3 player in the league, arguably the best player in the NBA, and he carries the 76ers over the top. He made them relevant again, and I think that having a healthy Embiid, finally getting him on a healthy playoff run, that can really take the 76ers at least past the second round for once.
Yeah, dude, when you mentioned the James Harden, that was the first time that I had real Embiid criticism, because I defended him for years. That Game 6 collapse, and then showing up in Game 7 like neither of them even wanted to be there.
I know.
And then coming
Game
out
6,
after the game, and then coming out after the game and saying James and I can't do it ourselves. That's when I was like, bro, what? You know what I mean, man? Like, what is
AI
going
would never.
on here? What is really going on here? You know,
AI
what I mean?
would never. Mindset.
But in college, he was 245 and he broke his foot, and then he refractured his foot while it was healing, you know, and there's the things about the trainer and the thing you said about the intern, you know, that's what I meant by the article is written one way and we can't just take it as fact because somebody said that. Like, there could have been a trainer and an intern was part of it, and an intern was an intern who's literally learning to be a trainer is in charge of certain things. Take him in this room and do these exercises. Like, that doesn't mean they were just like, hey, Joel Embiid, we got some guy who has no idea what he's doing to handle your rehab, and that's why he's hurt all the time, and that's why he's injured his whole career, and we need to blame the Sixers organization for everything. I'm the first one to say the Sixers organization is never does anything right. But their medical staff is not the reason Joel Embiid is always hurt. He's just always hurt. He broke his foot in Kansas. You know what I mean? He broke his foot. Like, he's just always hurt. When people say, fire the Sixers medical staff, and we need a different medical staff, how are these players always injured? I'm like, what do you think the medical staff is doing for players to always get injured? Like, that just doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, is Paul George hurt all the time because the medical staff isn't good? What are they doing in the medical staff that's hurting Paul George's knees? You know, like, I don't even think people connect those two things. That doesn't make sense to me. I think Joel Embiid is just injury prone, and it is what it is. I think my main problem with this whole topic now is that I don't care. I think he's done. You know what I mean? Is he going to play this year? And now he's like, I'm not going to rush back this time because they rushed me back last time, basically. And Daryl Morey said in an interview 2 days ago that Joel Embiid's going to be ready for training camp. He basically said, wait till you see him at training camp. And Joel was like, I'm not rushing back. I'm not giving any timetable. So now I'm like, all right, now we're on two different pages. Now the ownership and the GM thinks he's going to be ready, and he's over here saying, no, I'm not. The whole thing is about to be a disaster. Also, is this whole thing put up so he can request a trade, so you can blame the whole thing on the Sixers? And you know what I mean? I need another team to want me to take on this contract. I got to get out of here. Let's do an interview where we blame everything on the Sixers organization, and I'm not a Sixers organization defender at all. I'm just saying, if you wanted to work your way to a different team, that's one step in the direction of doing that, I feel like. So I don't know, man. It sounds to me like he doesn't want to be around the Sixers organization anymore by all the stuff that was talked about in that article. So is he going to request a trade? I mean, again, I love what you did for the Sixers, but please do, bro. I'm ready for this shit to be over because I can't do another season of is he going to play, is he not going to play, is he a healthy, is he a scratch right before tip-off, am I going to drive to Philly to watch the game and Joel Embiid's not playing on the radio on the way down there right here? You know, like, I just think that the Embiid article, maybe I have a negative take on it because I don't really care about the article because I'm so over this whole thing. I want to watch Sixers basketball, and here we go again. We don't even know if he's going to be healthy.
We starting bad right now with the Paul George as well. So he hurt. But, like, I feel like, didn't he say something in the article he wants to retire a Sixer or he wants to get a championship for the fan base? Am I correct or wrong about that? Did he say something in that similar? Like,
I mean, I don't really remember anything mentioning that.
Oh, he didn't say that? Okay.
Yeah.
I must be thinking of another article. But
he sounds like he doesn't want to be here anymore. I think that's what he sounds like. And I don't necessarily blame him, but if that's going to happen, can we speed it up?
Speed it up, man.
Watch something else.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, my point with the intern stuff, like, it was because I already knew that the Sixers, they were so brain dead when it came to all of this. And I think just like the lack of seriousness, you know, you had Embiid, he did break his foot at Kansas. You would be thinking, hey, maybe we can get some more experienced, you know, medical staff to oversee his rehab and not create such a rift between him and the organization right from the jump, because he was talking about how, you know, the unhealthy habits he was developing during that conflict with the organization, and them talking, you know, saying that he was dismissed as just like lazy, even though there's really something wrong with his foot. So already that issue right there, that just represents such a bigger issue with this franchise just having no idea what it is doing. And yeah, from a human level, I respect Embiid a lot more, but from a basketball perspective, it's been over 10 years, man. At some point, you need to just look in the mirror and say, we got to blow this up. We got to rebuild. I hope that if an Embiid trade someday happens, I don't know if it will ever happen, given how big his contract is and whether teams are going to rely on him and think that he can still be healthy and play in the NBA at a high level. I don't know if any team's going to bite on that. And I hope he can go to an organization where he can actually win, one that has structure. And then the 76ers, they can really reflect on this entire time and really analyze what they did wrong and not do it again with Jerry McCain and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe.
You know what sucks about this whole thing? I just feel like Joel Embiid's such a gifted athlete, and he didn't even believe in himself. He thought he was going to be just a defensive player. He didn't think he would learn this offense, and he's just like amazing offensively. Nobody can guard this man. People was coming at him as a free throw merchant. He'll make 12 free throws because he can make them all. And then but what about the other 20 points? So he's getting 35 points. What happened to the other 20-something points? People they don't have no answer for that. But it just sucks because we know how good he is, and we know, like, we believe in his skill. We believe in his ability to get us. I do. I think if he's healthy, we have a good enough team, in my opinion. If everybody is healthy with the Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid has more than what Allen Iverson had, in my opinion. Right now, I think with Tyrese Maxey in his prime, you got a Jared McCain. He would have been the Rookie of the Year last year. VJ Edgecombe, I think he's up and coming. We're going to see what he got in the regular season. I think, and then I didn't even mention Paul George. And then we got Paul George. So, I mean.
Paul George. Yeah,
Paul George. So, I think he has if he's healthy and if everybody's healthy, he has a good team where we should be able to run. I'm not saying be the first seed in the East, but we should be definitely a top 5 seed and make some noise in the playoffs. And that's what's so frustrating because we always say, when healthy. I hate saying that.
If healthy.
I hate it. I hate it.
Because Joel Embiid is so good when he's healthy that you're a contender. I don't care if you put him on the Washington Wizards right now. MVP level Joel Embiid, they're a contender. He's that good. He had his rookie season, the first month he ever played in the NBA. He had the process Sixers at 12-5 in the month of January, and then he got hurt again, of course. But still, when he was on the court, he had T.J. McConnell, Luke Bahamute, and Robert Covington at well over 500. The guy is that good. He demands that much attention from the defense. You can put a bunch of G League shooters around him, and you're going to win games.
And don't forget about his defense, too. His defense is outstanding as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. He might not get all the blocks, but he's going to alter a lot of shots. Yeah, once. He's going to alter a lot of shots in his early prime, and he was doing I don't know. It just sucks, man. It really does suck.
But look, here's my thing.
Where we go?
Corbin Smith, he shouldn't rush back. Bro, he had surgery 2 years ago. Then he had swelling from the surgery. Then he had another surgery. We just ramped up for an entire season. And now we're going to ramp up for another season. What is it going to be, 2045? And you guys are going to be saying, well, just don't rush him back. I'm going to be dead by the time he plays a fucking game, dude. I'm tired of saying it, man.
Hey, listen, you got a point there.
Did we forget how he looked last season when he was trying to get on the court? Like, he looked completely fried. He was not closing out on shots whatsoever. Well, I mean, he kind of had a tendency to do that even when he was healthy, but he was in pick and roll. He was getting destroyed. He was just, just lying around the offensive end. I mean, he used to be taking Trae Young out on the perimeter, switching onto him and holding him down in the playoffs. But just for him to go all the way to that and to see that and think that this guy can ever get healthy, it is a lost cause at this point. I wish it was different, man. And I think the Sixers, they're going to keep driving this into the ground and ride or die with Joel Embiid, especially this season, because the Eastern Conference is wide open when you think about it. I mean, the Boston Celtics, they're retooling this season. You have the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton's going to be missing the majority of the season. I mean, you have the Knicks. You have the Orlando Magic, I guess. And then you have who else, man?
I think the Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks, they got like Porzingis and stuff, and Jalen Johnson's coming back from injury. Yeah. I mean, they have a deep team. So you have some good teams in the Eastern Conference, but not like the Celtics like they were, years ago, or the Pacers. They're going to be out. Right. The Bucks are a complete disaster. So the Sixers, if healthy, they can really make a run at a championship. But we said that the last year and the year after that and the year before that and the year before that for 10 years. I think enough is enough.
And here's the thing too, man. He's the type of player that you need to run the game around. You know, you need to run a specific Joel Embiid style of basketball because of the gravity that he attracts and the attention he attracts from the defense and how much space he needs in the paint. You have to have a specific team built around him, right? And you do that all off season, and then he misses 2 months, and then you have to have the whole new strategy, and then guys are stepping up and trying to figure things out, and then Joel Embiid's back for one game. Now we got to switch the whole offense again. Talk about continuity. He's talking about continuity, bro.
Hey, how did you feel last season when Joel Embiid came back and we went against the Celtics on Christmas Day, beat them? Joel Embiid looked actually pretty good, and then I think the next game he was out for the rest of the season or something like that. How did you feel? Like, it's just crazy how it's just like why are we in this situation? Like, and how many more years does he have on his contract? That's what I want to know. Is it 4? Is it 3? Is it? I don't know how many years he got, but it's out of control. It's out of control.
Whose contract?
Joel Embiid. How many more years?
His extension starts next season until 2029, bro. That's what I'm saying. He had trouble getting on the floor. He looked like he couldn't get on the floor in 2024. He signed to 5 years after that, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's unbelievable that somebody would even expect him to play basketball that long. You're 60. The last 3 years are $60 million, $64, and $69 million in 2029. How in the world would you pay a 7-footer who's been injured his whole career $69 million when he's 35? That's an
injury
insane.
prone.
I think we just have to deal with it. I don't know any team that is going to try and trade for that contract at this point. Oh yeah, dude, like Dame Lillard.
Davon says we traded me. We still have Josh Harris. The real problem doesn't change anything. The tax ducker. He's Harold Katz 2.0, and Embiid is Andrew Toney. Look, Josh Harris doesn't know anything about basketball, but there's plenty of owners that don't know anything about basketball. I think Josh Harris doesn't care as much about the 76ers anymore because he made his money off of the process and selling the hope of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. He turned a $500 million investment into like $3 or $4 billion. He made his money on the Sixers. Now, I think it might be a tax write-off at this point, the amount of money he probably lost last year on the tickets, or they scammed the season ticket holders and they made all the money and they didn't, but you can have an owner that doesn't know anything about basketball.
Still win.
We haven't gotten a manager, I think, that knows anything about basketball. Like we go from this guy to this guy to this guy. Honestly, I say this a lot. Brian Colangelo built the most sensible roster. This guy had Ben Simmons winning 11 games in a row at the end of his season because he had him running point center, and he was putting like Marco Bellinelli and J.J. Redick and Ersan Ilyasova out there and bombing. Like, that guy built a team around Ben Simmons that made sense in not too long of a period of time. And then we get Daryl Morey, who's taken fucking 7 years to put a team together. He's like, just wait another year. I got to wait for this Tobias contract to run out because I'm not going to try to trade him for anything. And then we're going to wait another year, and then I'm going to just keep waiting, and then I'm going to build a team that you want. And then he gets all the cap space in the world. He gives it all to Paul George. And then he has to go sign a bunch of minimum retirees because he doesn't have any money to spend. And now we're still in that same situation when you could have signed, I don't know, dude, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Luke Kennard, some other players instead of giving all that money to Paul George. When you talk about the Celtics and how they built that winning team, it was Danny Ainge was the GM at the time, and he, Brad Stevens is understudy, and the whole structure, I think, comes underneath of those guys, not really the owner. You know what I mean? I think there's no structure in the Sixers organization. There's no organization. It seems like nobody is even talking to each other. Isn't Daryl Morey in charge of that? Isn't he the president of basketball operations?
Right. And that's what Jimmy Butler said. He said, "Who's the boss?"
That was back in the Brett Brown days.
So Jimmy Butler, and then people were like trying to paint Jimmy Butler as this bad guy, and trade Jimmy Butler, sign to. No, man, he was right the whole time. Like I don't know where we're gonna go from here, but it's getting to the point where we might have to be like the like the Suns with the Bradley Beal. We might have to be like that, bro, because how are we supposed to build a team?
We got two of them. We got two of them we got to buy out in that
worst
situation.
contracts in the
What are
league.
we gonna do
arguably.
and he's hurt. He got surgery from a workout. He got surgery. Not practice, just a workout, and not the game. He tearing his knee. He messed up his knee, got surgery, and I don't know where to even go. He just got a max contract and he's hurt again.
He's
hurt again.
It's a 25-year-old's game, and we're over here paying 35-year-olds max money. And then that's the thing too. You know, when Daryl Morey talks about, or anybody talks about, like, well, last year we just had a lot of injuries, dude. He was talking about Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, and he was like, I think I saw more wrist injuries and thumb injuries than I've ever seen in my life, and we just had an injury bug. No, they're all 40 years old, bro. Right. You get hurt when you're old. Why can't he put that together? We have the oldest team in the NBA, and we got a lot of injuries. I wonder if those two things are related.
Man, we should have tried to package a deal and listen, instead of getting Paul George, we should have packaged a deal and get marketing. I don't care about these first-round picks, man. Get rid of all the first-round picks and pay that guy. Don't pay Paul George. I know he was a free agent. The reason why the Clippers didn't pay him, because they knew he wasn't that dude. They didn't want to give him that fourth year. We were the only stupid organization to give him that fourth year, and we still got 3 more years, $100+ million, and we don't. And he's already hurt. He's hurt his second year being a Sixer. We don't even know when he's going to play.
That's right. Yeah.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna try to talk about some positive things now past the Joel Embiid stuff. But RJ, thanks for being a member of the channel. He says Sixers fans and Embiid stands are at war right now. I've been arguing with Embiid stands all day. But RJ, you got to remember that people on Twitter with an athlete's profile picture and their @name is like Embiid is the GOAT or whatever, it's a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? It really is, dude. So they don't actually know. They don't know anything about what they're talking about. They just started watching Joel Embiid 2 years ago because they picked their favorite player or something, probably when he won MVP. So you probably shouldn't even waste your time arguing with. And I'm guilty of it too. I respond a lot to some of these things, but it's really got to be a 12-year-old running those accounts, dude. That's just how I feel about that.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, we're Sixers fans. We're fans of the team and not these individual players. Remember when we traded for James Harden, and then all the James Harden fans came in, you know what I mean? And like we're bandwagons with the Rockets back in the day. I mean, like, yeah, you could like an individual player, but at some point, enough is enough, and you got to think about the best interests of the team. And with the way they have, Joel Embiid, his tenure with the Sixers, how it has gone, he keeps saying, stuff like, I've done too much for this city. And there are so many perspectives with it. Like when it comes to, putting his body on the line and fighting through a lot of pain with his injuries and stuff, I understand that. But when it comes to like the basketball perspective of just getting the results, getting to making these deep playoff runs, finally getting the Sixers, back to true playoff contention and not having, that playoff loss to the Atlanta Hawks, like even with Embiid's injury, like partial meniscus tear, Ben Simmons meltdown, like they still should have won that series. And there's no excuse for them to be, blowing like 26-point leads and stuff in like Game 5 was horrible. And
that's Doc
just
Rivers, right?
Yeah, Doc Rivers. And I just think, the Sixers and the way they treat Embiid, they could have done a better job, but him not being healthy, I think that's at the crux of everything. He's just had to be healthy, and it was just horrible, which is how many freak injuries he's had to endure.
Well, dude, you know what, too? It's easy for stans to get mad at me for what I'm saying because they're not Sixers fans, like you said. So they're not even watching the games if Joel Embiid's not playing. If he's hurt, they're like, I'll watch it when Joel Embiid comes back. That's like me with the Phillies when Bryce Harper gets hurt. I'm like, let me know when Bryce comes back. I am a fair weather Phillies fan. I admit that all the time. They're fair weather Sixers fans. They're not watching Game 1 if Joel Embiid isn't there, so they just think I'm out here saying mean things, and then they call me whatever they call me on Twitter, and I'm like, you guys aren't even watching the games. You're not Sixers fans. I want the Sixers to be good, and if not, like, we need to make some changes to make them good, So, like, if it's time to retire or it's time to request a trade or something, that's just, I don't know. That's just how I see it. Brian Pumper, fellas, what happened to Philly fans? Joel was a great player, but damn, hold the man accountable for his failures. Nasty work. I also think I think we're at a crossroads right now in the media with Twitter and TikTok, and then the old like radio heads and I think we're not really understanding each other at all. And a lot of people, whatever their preferred platform is, they think that's Philly fans, you know. So if you're seeing a bunch of people defend Embiid on Twitter, you feel like, what happened to Philly fans? When really it's just maybe some dudes on Twitter that are saying that. When I go outside and talk to somebody, they say, hey, man, Sixers need to trade Embiid, dude. I swear to God, the first thing people say to me when I go outside somewhere and they see me.
I know that's what they say to me. I'm like, how?
Yeah, I'm not lying.
How do you do it? Can you tell me how?
But what I'm saying is I'm an asshole for saying that on the internet, but then I go out in the real world and everybody agrees with me. So I'm just starting to think it's just the internet.
Yeah. They just don't know the team. They don't watch the team. They don't watch all the games. They don't know. They just hear what they hear on ESPN or whatever. And some of the they don't know. They don't know. That's just what it is. They're ignorant to what's going on with the Sixer organization. We know a little bit more because we watch the game, we watch the team, and
let's talk. Let me get your guys' opinion on this right here. This Kendrick Perkins clip that was on Twitter today, and a lot of people were replying to Kendrick Perkins and telling him he's the worst person ever for saying this. I listened to it and I was like, what did he say wrong? You know what I mean? So I'm confused. But here's what he said.
When you think about this situation, at one point we was looking at the Philadelphia 76ers, and at one point we saw structure. We saw stability.
Well, when did we see structure?
That's why I had to make that. This is the people
Ben
I'm
Simmons
saying.
Situation, the James Harden situation.
They don't
I can't
watch
take it
the
seriously,
Sixers.
dude.
All right, hold on. Let's listen.
We saw culture, and then all of a sudden,
we saw culture.
So the opposite of culture.
See, that's what I'm telling you, y'all.
Wait, I thought I listened to this. I think I'm thinking of something else. All right,
since
listen.
Daryl Morey has taken over this job, it's gotten worse. Since he's taken over this organization, it's got worse. Let's be real here. And now all of a sudden you're looking at your franchise guy, one of your franchise guys, your players, not being able to start the season next year, and Joel Embiid, because he's telling us right now that his body is not right, which we already know. Paul George just underwent a procedure. Now you look at your next guy in the diamond in the rough that you found in Tyrese Maxey, and the Philadelphia 76ers are on the clock. They're on the clock when it comes down to Tyrese Maxey. And when I say on the clock, because if they keep trending in this direction of no culture and no stability, guess what?
All right, they're putting music on there. That's going to get me copyright. But anyway, he said if they keep trending in this direction of no culture and no stability, Tyrese Maxey is going to want out of Philadelphia. What do you guys think about that?
You mind if I go first, Mike?
Go ahead.
I definitely disagree with that part. Now, Kendrick Perkins, he has said some pretty funny things about the Sixers, especially it reminded me of when Tobias scored 0 points and Perkins said, like, it was like an analogy, like he went to Chick-fil-A, but all he brought back was straws. I don't know if you remember that. I was cracking up at that. But yeah, Tyrese Maxey, he just signed a new deal. They had like an entire presentation for it, if you remember that. Like, I think like Dr. J was there or whatever, and Embiid was there, and he gave him like a classic like Iverson jersey with his name on it, number on it, and stuff. So no, Tyrese Maxey, if anything, he is the next era of Sixers basketball. He is the one who is setting the culture. You know what I mean? Like, yes. I was really impressed with the way he actually called out Embiid. Of course, we don't like to see these locker room tensions and stuff when they come to light, but the fact that Tyrese Maxey was able to do that with Embiid, being an MVP, being the franchise guy for over a decade now, for him to do that, it took a lot of grit, and it took a lot. It was really bold of him to do that because he was sort of like the second guy in the next, Joel Embiid sort of sidekick when it comes to Ben Simmons, James Harden. So for him to already take that step, and even it's like the small things too, like going out to dinner with VJ Edgecombe when they're scouting him, you know what I mean? Trying to get to know these guys, in preparation for the future, him really taking that step as a leader. I think Maxey, with his work ethic, with his, his ability to improve year after year, and his ball handling responsibilities, well as someone who's trying to be like a combo guard type, I still think he's more of a shooting guard. I think it would be great for the Sixers to have more of a facilitator right next to him, just like how the Sixers in the past had Eric Snow, really pass the ball around with Iverson running around, I think that could work the best with Maxey. But for Maxey, he's already setting the tone, and we're already preparing for the next era of Sixers basketball. And I think, Joel Embiid and Paul George, we're kind of just stuck with these contracts. We have to ride it out because the Eastern Conference is wide open. I don't know if there's any trade value for them, but I disagree with that. I think that Tyrese Maxey, I think he might honestly be a Sixer for life.
Yeah, but think about it like this, though. Tyrese Maxey's sitting there, and Rich Paul's in his ear all the time. Don't forget about that.
And I didn't think of that.
No,
That's a good point. That's a
good point. But also, Tyrese Maxey's sitting there like, I'm a 25-year-old all-star. It should be built. It should be built around me time. Joel Embiid has an extension that didn't even start yet. That takes him till 2029. Tyrese Maxey be damn near 30 by the time that contract is over. If we're waiting on, so the whole
I get that.
Yeah, the whole dude, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to wait too long. Then they're going to try to build around Tyrese Maxey when he's 31, and then he's going to have an ESPN article talking about the Sixers and the medical staff and everything, and it goes on and on and on. So couldn't you see Tyrese Maxey and Rich Paul both being like, hey, man, we're sick of this shit. It's our team now. Build around Tyrese Maxey, or we're going to request a trade. Couldn't you see that happening?
I definitely could see it, but I think Maxey, I think he's too humble for that. You know what I mean? He's just someone who gets out there and he just balls out, and I think he has a great relationship with Embiid, at least from what we've seen. Of course, they had that locker room dispute, but that seemed to have gotten, settled pretty quickly. And so he has a good relationship with Embiid. He never really seemed to me to be the guy who wanted to have everything run around him like a James Harden, sort of like a Ben Simmons, and have that diva mindset. I think Tyrese Maxey, he just loves to hoop. He loves to work out, and he is, the franchise that is his nickname. And I think the fact that they, I look back to the draft, and they drafted VJ Edgecombe. And what VJ Edgecombe was coming out of the draft, his biggest strength was his ability to defend the ball and really do the little things. Now, of course, the sky's the limit really when it comes to his offensive development, but his hustle, his ability to really make an impact with his defensive playmaking and fill in the gaps, I think that's an excellent pairing next to Tyrese Maxey when it comes to having a defensive backcourt, because Maxey, he never really had an elite perimeter defender play next to him. And compare that with Ace Bailey, a player who, of course, is a project who is sort of kind of being viewed as a franchise piece, but needs the ball in his hands a lot. So what if there would sort of be a conflict with, Ace Bailey? He comes around and now, the franchise is focused on him, but Maxey's been here the entire time and he's put in so much work improving year after year. I think taking VJ Edgecombe, another guy who's just humble and loves to win. Are we breaking up a little bit?
No, I can still hear you. I can still.
Yeah, no, just the fact that I think
Mike froze. Mike's frozen.
Yeah,
you're breaking up.
Mike,
I'm frozen. Y'all was frozen.
Oh, damn, my bad.
I don't know what you said. The last thing you said.
I think just like if they were to take Ace Bailey and he was to become a superstar, then they focus on him. I think that would upset Maxey more because he's been here for a while. He improved year after year and can show his star potential. As an alternative, you're taking VJ Edgecombe, a guy, of course, he has that star potential, but is someone who could play off ball, contribute immediately to Maxey winning now and in the future.
My biggest thing is Kendrick Perkins lost me from the very beginning. When he said culture, in a good ran organization, I said he don't see. This is what I be saying.
He just be making shit up.
Right? They don't watch the Sixers. I'm telling you, even ESPN people, they got all the limelight, all the shine, but they don't even be knowing what they're talking about half the time. But yeah, man, I don't think Maxey, I think he would. I get what East was saying. He might get in Tyrese Maxey's ear and be like, yo, don't you want to be on another team, blah, blah, blah. But I truly feel like Maxey's personality, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing, he just seems like he just lets things flow. I don't think, he's down to earth. He just lets things flow. And my biggest thing is getting back to Paul George. I have to get back to this real quick. Paul George, he just got surgery. Do you think VJ Edgecombe, right, can be versatile enough to be in that 3 spot? Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Not saying that he's going to be the 3 spot permanently, but I'm just saying, do you think he can do enough defensively and offensively enough to be that number 3? And also because it's going to be Jared McCain's, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe's team eventually. They're the present and they're the future. Paul George is the present and they skedaddle. They hustle la vista, hustle away. They about to be going. You know, I don't even know about that. They under contract. Never mind, they're under contract. So, but you get where I'm going with it. But like, do you think? Because I know VJ Edgecombe, he's like 6'5". He's not in his grown man body yet. He's not fully grown yet. I don't think. Can he grow maybe to 6'6", 6'7", and be that 3? Or do you think he's tall enough at 6'5" to be the 3? And then one more thing, and about Paul George, I actually don't want him to miss too many games because in order for us to get that contract off of the books of the Sixers, he has to play. Who's going to trade for that contract? You know what I mean? So I want to see VJ Edgecombe at the 3 because I want to see his versatility. Can he do that? Is he that guy that he can be 1, 2, or 3? And, of course, eventually I do want to see Paul George come back and get his value back up so we can trade his behind. So, but do y'all think he could be a 3? Do y'all think?
Well, the Paul George thing, here's what's going to happen with the Paul George contract and the Joel Embiid contract. Realistically, you can come back to this 4 years from now and tell me I was right. The same way Daryl Morey came in and immediately got rid of Al Horford by attaching a first-round pick to it because everybody was like, this is the worst contract ever. Daryl Morey's going to get fired, and another GM's going to come in and have to try to get rid of these contracts by attaching picks to them or whatever else to get a fresh start because I just don't see any way out of these contracts. The Paul George one, with 2 years left, it could be tradable because the last year could end up being a buyout with somebody, and maybe the payroll at that time, $50 million isn't a ton of money when guys like Devin Booker are making 75. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I don't see anything. I'm serious. I think my prediction is that Daryl Morey gets fired after this season. Because this is a disaster, dude. What are we doing? It doesn't even seem like they even talk to each other. I think he gets fired after this season. I think another GM has to try to figure out how to get rid of these contracts, and then they start selling the Sixers as this new Maxey, McCain, VJ Edgecombe era of basketball. But until it's just an odd situation because it's like you have these 2 old guys that are hurt, lingering. The young guys want to play. Right. And we're still holding on to this, hoping these guys can be healthy to give us a chance. It's like we're in 2 different eras at the same time.
I think it really does depend on next season and when it comes to Daryl Morey. I mean, I think his job is more on the hot seat than it is Daryl Morey's because we saw what happened right after that Toronto Raptors, championship core, right after it kind of fell apart and they're sort of going into a rebuild. And Raptors fans, they were complaining so much about Nick Nurse not giving these young guys a chance. Yeah. And they were 100% right on the money when it came to that. Nick Nurse was playing Gershon Yabusele at center. Everyone's saying, that was one of their better offensive lineups, but it was a layup line. It was a complete layup line. You got to play defense in order to win a basketball game. They could have had a Dembona, who's an athletic freak, who had like 6 blocks in the other Summer League game. I know it's Summer League, but it's good to see, these sophomore players. It's a good sign if they're sophomore players and they're dominating Summer League. You know what I mean? So I think Dembona, he's got to be the backup center this year. No question about it. Andre Drummond, I don't think he has it anymore. He dubbed himself the greatest rebounder ever. I just did not see it last season. Dembona, he has to be he's got to be the backup center. And Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. If we see them getting playing time, if we see them get playing time at the beginning of next season, I think Nick Nurse, he's going to get canned because Josh Harris, he has a brand new fancy, number 3 overall pick that he's got to sell tickets to. And if they're stealing all of his minutes, it's over for Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, if Andre Drummond is available, I think Nick Nurse is playing him at backup center. And I think I'm serious. And I think no matter what happens on the court, he's going to continue. Because last year I saw things happening on the court that didn't seem to change the way that he was doing things until they were 5-25. And apparently Andre Drummond got hurt and everybody. And then he started playing a Dembona. He's going to play him. He's going to play Kyle Lowry. He's going to play Eric Gordon. He's absolutely going to. What the problem is, this is like a fraternity. They're just doing politics. They're hiring their friends, and then they're putting their friends in the game so everybody can have fun and make money and go home. They're not reading Twitter. They're not listening to what I'm saying. They're not doing any of that. You know what I mean? So I honestly, yes, I see Nick Nurse playing Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Andre Drummond.
No.
I do.
No.
And I see it being as terrible as it was to start last season. and then maybe he will get fired, but maybe Josh Harris is over there in Washington Redskins meetings and doesn't care anyway. So I don't know, man. But I don't see Nick Nurse suddenly developing young players or giving young players a chance. Like you said, that's what they said about him in Toronto. We saw it firsthand last year.
That's
Justin
true.
Edwards didn't get a minute for 3 months, or Dambona.
Him, Jared McCain. Don't forget about that. Until Reggie and Eric and all of them got hurt, he wasn't getting no minutes, bro.
Jared McCain had a 34-10 game against the Cavs. The Cavs were the number 1 seed in the East at that time. They were fully healthy. The Sixers were depleted. They took them to the fourth quarter. They gave them a run for their money. Jared McCain led the team. We watched it happen. The very next game, Jared McCain was on pace for a back-to-back 30-piece. He had 29 points. Nick Nurse took him out with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter for who? Kyle Lowry, and they lost the game.
Yep. Yeah.
This is real life.
I mean, look, the OKC.
Once the season ends, we forget about it, and then we're like, he's not really going to do that. And then when he does it, we're like, oh, yeah, we forgot that he does that shit.
Right. I was just thinking about, the two teams that made the finals, the Pacers and the Thunder. So they both have elite guard rotations. We know that. Keisha Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Nemhard and TJ McConnell. The Sixers, they have that when it comes to Maxey, McCain, Grimes, and VJ Edgecombe. But that's good. That's good. Yeah, if we keep Quentin Grimes, we can get to him soon. But the fact with them is that they have veteran players with experience. I think that is important when making a playoff push. However, those veterans, they're playable. You know what I mean? They're not decrepit. Yet the Sixers, they keep investing in guys like Lowry and Gordon who cannot see minutes on a playoff court. Andre Drummond, too. They just don't have it anymore, and you're wasting these roster spots. I understand the veteran leadership and stuff like that, but all these teams that are winning, they have that blend of guys who can just flat out play basketball and not be a liability while also bringing that veteran experience.
It's the money, though. The reason why they keep signing them, I think it's just because of the money. You gave all the money to Joel Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you got 3 max contracts, and then you just got to kind of fill it in, which you can, whoever you can get.
Kelly Oubre is on an $8 million year right now. So if you wanted to, and I like Kelly Oubre, but if you wanted to go into this offseason and free up cap space, you should have been trying to trade Kelly Oubre. I like Kelly Oubre, but for cap situations, you should have been trying to trade Kelly Oubre. You should have been trying. They said they were trying to trade Andre Drummond. They can't trade him because he's on a $5 million player option. Nobody wants him.
Right.
You should have been trading Oubre, Drummond, and probably Kelly Oubre, or Kelly Oubre, Drummond, and probably Eric Gordon, who waived his player option and then they re-signed him. Again, that's a backdoor deal. That's a handshake agreement.
Right.
So I just see politics, and I don't see anything happening to actually try to build a deep roster.
So what you're saying is Nick Nurse is not going to play Broom, my guy Janai Broom, that's been dominating. I know it's the summer league. He's not going to play at all. He ain't going to give him no minutes. I'm talking about garbage time. He won't give him no minutes.
Here's what's going to happen. Let me make another prediction. I think Janai Broom can play power forward in certain lineups, especially if Joel Embiid is healthy. I think he can. I think he's a good passer. I think he's probably the best rebounder on the entire 76ers roster because of his fundamentals, and he knows where to be on the floor. He knows how to use his body. He lacks athleticism and size compared to like NBA centers, but he's just a super smart player, and I think he can play the 4 in the NBA. I do. In his rookie season, maybe 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Give him something.
Nick Nurse is going to play him at center probably, and he's going to get. And we were probably having the same conversation about Yabusele last year. We had no idea Nick Nurse was going to play him at center. We were all like, he's not a center, and he did it.
Stretch 4.
We got to fire the coach, man.
Watch. Embiid and Drummond are out, and Adembona is sitting there on the bench, and he puts Janai Broom at center. Dude, watch it happen, man.
All right, but remember you said it.
I mean, with Broom, everyone's criticizing Broom, for his athleticism and not really like questions of whether it could be on par with the rest of the NBA as compared to college. However, we have seen guys who have that sneaky athleticism, like Nick Batum. I mean, if he could somewhat replicate what Nick Batum did with the Sixers. Now, Nick Batum, he didn't really pop out in the box score, But for true
all the
Sixers
small
fans
things.
that watch the games, he was one of the best role players Joel Embiid ever played with his IQ, with his defensive IQ, just always knowing where to be, his high-low actions, his catch-and-shoot three-point shot. He's got like one of the best shooting forms I've ever seen, and he was a perfect match with Joel Embiid. And if he could, spot up from three, hit them catch-and-shoot threes, rebound the ball, know where to be defensively, I mean, he could definitely be a great role player. I just don't know if Nick Nurse is going to play him.
Andre Drummond is getting more. Then Bona, you're not getting no minutes. It's going to be Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid. And at the 4,
you already have Watford. Trendon Watford, Jabari Walker too. I don't know, man. Like they already have NBA experience.
Yeah, Daryl Morey has been talking about those players a lot when he talks about depth and size and youth and athleticism. But is Nick Nurse going to play those guys either? Now are we going to get a situation where Daryl Morey's trying to do something, the coach won't play him? Much like Daryl Morey drafting Isaiah Joe and Doc Rivers being like, no, I'm not playing that guy.
Right.
Nobody's ever on the same page on this team. Nobody's ever on the same page, man.
What's the point of drafting all this young talent if you don't give them the opportunity? Now I'm thinking about VJ Edgecombe. Is he even going to get any, how much playing time is VJ Edgecombe going to get? Realistically,
let's go back to what you were saying, man. Can VJ Edgecombe play the small forward this year? I think VJ Edgecombe's shot's going to need a lot of work. I know we've only seen 2 summer league games, but his 3-point shot just doesn't look consistent. Now maybe he was nervous game 1, then he hurt his thumb, then he came back and he's out of rhythm. Maybe when he gets in rhythm, it comes along. He shot 35% in college, 40% in the tournament, but it was only a couple of games. But from what I've seen, it looks like his perimeter shot is struggling. And I know it's just 2 summer league games. His athleticism is there. His defense is going to be great on the floor. I think his turning defense into offense, his Russell Westbrook-esque stuff, like when he grabs the ball off the rim on a rebound and just sprints down the floor and dunks on the other end. I think you're going to see a lot of that. I think there's going to be a lot of things that he does that helps the team. But I think he's going to need a couple years to be like a starting small forward. He just still looks like a kid to me. He's 19 years old. I don't think he's a starting small forward.
I mean, Jimmy Butler, I know VJ's been getting comparisons to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy, he's bigger than him, of course. I think he's more of like an Anthony Edwards, Dwayne Wade type of mesh. But Jimmy, to start his career, he was a defensive specialist. You know what I mean? His shot, it took a while for it to develop, for him to, develop as a scorer. Again, he was still a really impactful player with the Bulls back then when they were going on playoff runs. So I think VJ, he's definitely not starting. I hope he gets some sort of bench role with the Sixers finally, tapping into this guard rotation that they have. And it better not be Eric Gordon or Kyle Lowry. I mean, we're already having questions about whether Quentin Grimes is going to start. I think he's going to be brought back. And with Quentin Grimes, I think there's been a lot of discussion about whether he's going to be frustrated with his shot diet, and whether, since, he proved that he could be such a good 3-level scorer last season, he thinks that him and his camp he's a lot more than what these teams are valuing him at. I think this is actually a great situation for him, because Paul George and Joel Embiid, they take up a bunch of shots, but they're not always going to be on the court. So that gives Quentin Grimes the opportunity to show out. Now, I'm not going to say he's just going to chuck a bunch of shots, but if the Sixers maybe negotiate like a shorter term deal, kind of like a more of a prove it kind of, deal, and Grimes, he could take that opportunity. I think it will work well for both sides when you consider Embiid and Paul George being so injury prone and how important they are to this core.
I also think Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes could be a good point guard, shooting guard combo. You know what I mean? And I know people say Maxey's not a point guard. I've said it a lot of times too. But maybe Maxey's never played with a guy that can get a shot off like Quentin Grimes, and create his own shot and be that combo guard. And I don't think Maxey's the kind of player that you'd have to – I don't think Quentin Grimes would have to worry about, like, oh, I'm coming onto a team and Tyrese Maxey's going to take all the shots. I don't think he's that type of player. I think last year he took all the shots because, like, who the hell was he playing with when the season started,
Reggie Jackson.
So, Reggie Jackson, Kyle Lowry, and those guys. I think Maxey and Grimes could end up being a good 1-2 duo, and then, maybe Grimes likes what's going on, and then maybe he signs longer. I think he could end up taking the 1 year, $8.7 million that they made as a qualifying offer, and then become an unrestricted free agent next season if nobody offers him some kind of long-term deal that that he wants. And then you're talking about McCain and VJ off the bench. And yeah, I agree. With those 4 guys, you shouldn't see Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon at all, but I unfortunately think that you will.
I mean, I think it's good that the Sixers, I mean, they have, with the Maxey and Grimes pairing, you have Maxey, who's primarily an offensive player. But then you have Grimes, who is a great defender. He's just a great 3-and-D player. So you have that offense-defense tandem. But then off the bench, you're getting the same thing. You're getting McCain and VJ Edgecombe. So there really isn't a scenario, if Nick Nurse plays things the right way, where the Sixers can just be picked apart from the perimeter like they have been for so many years, when you have just guys who are decrepit and can't defend at all, especially just keeping guys in front of them.
They love them. They love them older players. They're going to get minutes, y'all. I know we trying to make it make sense. But I'm telling you, it's not going to make sense this season. You're going to see. You're going to see Eric Gordon get minutes. You're going to see Kyle Lowry get minutes. And I think VJ Edgecombe is going to be good enough. Maybe he's going to struggle from 3 here and there. But I think he's going to be good enough to get some minutes defensively. I think he's going to make a lot of good defensive plays. And I hope he gets minutes. I hope he gets consistent minutes, not just minutes.
Josh Harris will allow him to get minutes, I think.
Yeah, he has to get minutes. There's
third
nothing
overall pick.
There's nothing right now to sell this team off of,
Right.
Like VJ's the draft pick, and yeah, it's in your best interest as a business to put him on the floor to at least for the fans. Hey, Joel's still not here. We don't know if he's ever going to play, but hey, we got the young guy that we drafted. Watch him play or whatever. I think he has to play, man. Right. Shizzo Flex was talking about, I think talking about Maxey when I asked if you could see Maxey requesting a trade. You can be friends with anyone, but when legacy and how you're viewed is at stake, you got to step on next. Does Maxey want to be viewed as Damian Lillard or Curry? Yeah, I agree, because Maxey's not, he's humble, but he's not going to sit around his whole career. I think that's what one of Joel Embiid's biggest mistakes was, being too humble. He should have called Ben Simmons out year 1. Instead, he was being so nice about it, wouldn't say anything and all this stuff, and the guy never shot the damn basketball. I think Maxey, I think he's in the next year or two, if things don't change, he's going to start to say something. I think so. And Zeem says Edgecombe is taller than Oubre, so he can play the 3.
Oubre's like 6'8". 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, Oubre's 6'7", 6'8". VJ's like 6'5". He doesn't look big on the court, I know that, but he looks fast and he looks athletic. We'll see, man. Any other summer league players that you guys are excited about that you think could get minutes on this team? What about Judah Mintz or Jalen Hood-Schifino that put up a goose egg in a summer league game in 30 minutes in his 3rd year in the summer league?
Look, I mean, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to lie. I've only been watching summer league for VJ Edgecombe and Broom, to be honest. But like, it's VJ.
Those are the only ones.
Oh, me too.
Adembona as well.
I was totally joking. Those guys stink, dude. Those guys are terrible.
I mean, I think
I'm not kidding at all.
It's good. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Justin Edwards. Are we worried about Justin Edwards? I mean, he wasn't like Adembona. He was dominating in his sophomore season. You know what I mean? Like sophomores, they kind of tend to do that in summer league. But Justin Edwards, I think he wasn't being as productive as we thought he would, given the successful season that he had last year. And I mean, I'm not worried about it personally. I don't know. I want your opinion.
We know he can play. I mean, summer league, I'm not really worried about that. I mean, he's not really going. I don't think he's going all out. You know what I mean? And I just feel like I just want to, like, for the summer league, only 2 players I care about right now. I do like seeing Adembona dunk on people. That's one thing. Adembona, his energy.
Summer league Giannis.
Yo, Adembona is a beast, man. He might be summer league Giannis. That might be a good nickname for him. But I love what I'm seeing from Broom. I think last night, I think he hit like 4 threes. He shot the 3 11 times, though. I don't know why he was shooting on them threes.
He's not afraid to shoot.
He ain't scared to shoot.
Was afraid. PJ Tucker was afraid. We need guys who could sling it.
Hey, listen, but he started to bricking for chicken. And that's the one thing about Joel Embiid that I can't stand sometimes. Like, once he makes a 3.
4 for 11 is about 35%, I think, maybe,
about average. Yeah. And that's the one thing about Joel Embiid. When he makes a 3, he thinks he's Steph Curry, and he just keeps on chucking up 3s. So that's why I just want to, like, I don't mind him shooting a couple of 3s occasionally, but I just love when he's in the post. Broom, in the post, he is, look, he looks good, man. Finish with the left or the right hand. He's good, man. Yeah. I like his. I like him.
I think Janai Broom, he needs to be a 3-point shooter, if he wants to play power forward in today's NBA. So I think he needs to prove prove that he can shoot the three, or
that's
continue to work on it. You know, and he's shooting it pretty good. He was 27% in college. I thought he was gonna, I thought it wasn't good at all. And he's impressed.
Maxey wasn't a good shooter in college.
Yeah, Broom's 3-point shot has impressed me so far.
Right.
And I think that his post dominance isn't gonna look against NBA talent quite what it looks like against summer league talent. I don't want to shit on it. I hope I'm wrong about that, but that's how I feel about
if he gets minutes, he's gonna show off. I think, but I don't think he's gonna get minutes.
But yeah, Justin Edwards, man, this summer league team is just a YMCA pickup game, man. You got Judah Mintz out here trying to do double behind the back Euro step throughs, and like these guys are just trying to show out. And Justin Edwards he might kind of be like, why am I doing this? Didn't I prove last year that
What did the Mavericks do?
The Mavericks immediately.
Yeah, he scored 31 points in a game. They said, we've seen enough. You don't need to play no more. What's the point, bro? What's the point? 31 points.
Cooper Flag is going to be. Has Ace Bailey played another summer league game besides that one?
I think
he won against the Sixers and he wasn't great.
Yeah.
And then he had another one that he looked like young Tracy McGrady, and I was like, bro.
Oh, don't say the Tracy.
And I haven't seen. That's exactly who it reminded me of, bro. Watch rookie Tracy McGrady. That's exactly who Ace Bailey reminded me of in that second summer league game. And then I haven't seen him since. I think they're cool on it too. I honestly think Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey are going to be the two best players out of the draft. I really do. And I know his camp and the head case stuff and all this stuff, but I sadly think I'm going to be right about the fact that the upside outweighs all of that, and you had to just draft the upside. The Ace Bailey has absolute superstar written all over him because of his size and athleticism and ability to catch and shoot and ability to ISO dribble. And I know the haters say he can't do any of those things. I'm seeing something totally different. I know it was just one summer league game that I saw, but I feel like that kid is going to be a stud in the NBA, and I think Cooper Flag's going to be a stud in the NBA. I think VJ Edgecombe's going to be a very good role player for a couple of years. I don't think he touches either of those guys as far as their ceiling goes. And that's how I felt before the draft, and that's how I feel now. I think we're going to love VJ Edgecombe, but I think 5 years from now we're going to look at Ace Bailey and say, wow. He
better not be Tracy McGrady. He better not be that guy.
That's honestly what I think, bro.
I'm done with the Sixers.
The dude
I get that.
He looks every bit of 6'10", and he's catching lobs over people, and he's hitting step back threes. I'm telling you, the upside is something the Sixers shouldn't have passed on. But
I mean, these guys are 18, 19 years old, so we literally have no idea. But I think Ace Bailey, he definitely has the skill sets to become a lethal scorer for sure. I think a lot of it has to do with his ability to create separation and his reliance on tough shot making. I don't know how long that could last. I think if there could be a way for him to get easier shots and really take advantage of his athleticism and his just great perimeter shot making, then of course he could elevate himself to be a superstar. But VJ Edgecombe, man, VJ Edgecombe, I think of course they took him because he can contribute more. However, his work ethic, combine that with his athleticism. I mean, no one was expecting Tyrese Maxey to be as good as he is. And VJ Edgecombe, man, I think he has to work on his dribbling a lot, like with Ace Bailey does. I mean, of course, these guys, they're so young. Of course, they're going to have things to improve upon. And I think if he can really, start out as a role player, because a lot of fans were talking about, you have to take Ace immediately because he's going to develop into a star and such. But yeah, I mean, he's 18. I think I did not almost request a trade, almost gouge my eyes out watching Marcus Bagley and Alex Reese and stuff just to draft Ben Simmons 2.0. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh with that, but I think to have another head case right after the Ben Simmons drama, right after the James Harden drama, just after all of that, and just to have a guy who can really buy into a winning system, I think VJ Edgecombe, I think he has star potential. Now, is it Ace Bailey at his peak? Probably not, but I think it is still someone who can be a massive contributor to a championship team with all of his intangibles, his athleticism, his off-ball scoring, and he's getting kind of compared to a young Ant-Man and a young Dwayne Wade. We'll see what happens, but I like VJ a lot, dude.
That's the comparison I wanted to hear. Ant-Man comparison. Listen, he got a long ways to get there.
Like Anthony Edwards, he was far from a perfect prospect.
He was, but if he gets anywhere close to either Jimmy Butler or Ant-Man, any of those two players, we made a good pick.
Yeah, but, and when you look at you look at that he was number 3, you could look at maybe last year's draft and say if VJ Edgecombe was in last year's draft, would he have been the number 1 overall pick? You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah,
well, I mean, is he better than McCain? Like, I mean, McCain, I think, would take VJ out of that. Like, McCain would probably be number one. I mean, if he didn't get injured, he would have won Rookie of the Year. He was going on an insane run, just being so efficient from the three-point line as a scorer. Like, we thought that he would just be a shooter. But he showed so much more driving to the rim. His physicality too, man. Like he's like pretty like stocky. Like he's definitely toned, but he could get physical going to the rack.
What number was he taking?
He was taking 16. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying when I look at the top 5 last year, VJ Edgecombe might have been the number 1 pick in the draft that year. So when people say like, oh, he was only the 3rd pick in the draft, it depends on the draft, how stacked the draft is.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like taking like in a redraft.
I feel like who was number 1? Ricochet last year.
Yeah.
He's on the Hawks. What pick would he have been in this last draft? I think maybe 4. Maybe ahead of Trey Johnson or Con Canepo or somebody.
Jeremiah Fears, Ace Bailey, Boyles. Come on, Malawatch. I mean, this was actually a really good draft. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any Malawatch. I haven't seen any Malawatch Summer League.
What about Trey Johnson?
Has there been Malawatch Summer
we mentioned
League?
him. No, we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen him yet. I don't think we've seen Trey Johnson yet. I think Jeremiah Fears, I think he's making his debut soon. I'm excited for him. I think he's going to be really good.
Malawatch is a monster. I think he's going to be good too.
I mean, the Suns, like, I think the Phoenix Suns, I mean, there are some organizations that I think might be more delusional than the Sixers, honestly. I think it's like the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, the Suns. Give me some other ones, I think. But those 3, like, I say they're on par or low-key even worse. Because, of course,
the Suns are in a situation that we're about to be in 2 years from now, where we have to get rid of all the guys that we thought was going to work out so that we can continue to build around, and then Maxey will be the guy on a Devin Booker $75 million a year contract probably.
Right, but I mean, at least I think they traded for Jalen Green. They have Malawatch. I like Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe for the future, for the long term a lot more. And the Sixers, dude, the Suns have no draft picks. Like they have literally no draft picks. The Sixers, at least they have those Clippers picks. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be upset if the Sixers trade one of those picks because the Clippers, their owner, they spend so much money. Like he spends a lot of money. Steve Ballmer. I don't think it's like a surefire bet that the Clippers are going to be trash in 2028. So what if they move that pick in the meantime and trade for like a Herb Jones?
They signed Bradley Beal. They're not doing nothing. They're not doing nothing, bro. It's over.
James Harden and Bradley Beal, they're not defending anybody. They're not defending anybody. James Harden and Bradley Beal.
Bro. Defense wins champion. And then Leonard might be hurt. So no disrespect to him.
Bradley Beal ain't trying to win anything, bro. He don't care anymore. The way that he was talking about his no trade clause last year, there was a quote where he was like, somebody was talking about him being traded, and he was like, well, I hold the card. So like he was just acting like he doesn't give a shit about the team or winning or them trading him or if his contract is ruining their cap space. He didn't care at all, bro.
Speaking of not winning, Damian Lillard returning to the Blazers. We need to get our thoughts on that. I did not expect that. I low-key thought he was going to sign with the Celtics and ring chase.
For what though? Why did he go to? I mean, I guess he's going back home, but they're not doing anything. They're not doing nothing in the West.
His wife and kids are still in Portland. Like he's
right.
He still owns the house there. He's still all that stuff. He was away from his family while he was playing in Milwaukee, and any free time he had, he went back to Portland.
When it comes to winning, they have no chance in the West. I'm sorry. I don't care that they got my guy Drew Holiday's over there as well. That's my guy. Got his autograph on my wall. But at the end of the day, I got his autograph when he's with the Sixers.
They're not winning anything. I think Dame went back there to retire, to be honest with you, man. 33, torn Achilles, goes back home. His family's still there.
He's gone for a year. He's gone for this year. So it's like,
I get that.
What was the point? You're not doing that. The West is too stacked. You're not winning. You're not winning nothing. So it's just I
don't think Damian Lillard has ever really cared that much about winning. There was times where people were talking about him requesting a trade out of Portland, and he would be like, "No, I'm going to play my whole career here. I'm going to try to win. If I don't win, so be it." I think he's always been a guy that kind of is like, I play hard. I get, or I get to play ball for a living. I live a great life in Portland. My family's here. I got my kids. Like, I'm not going to request a trade to go play in wherever to try to win. He's never seemed to me like he really cares that much about winning.
He wanted to go to Miami, right?
I think
originally
he gets paid to play basketball. He makes hip hop albums, and he's cool with that. I think that's his the vibe seems like. To
we got that with Paul George right now.
Oh
Exactly.
Pretty
my
much. Like, at this
podcast
point,
baby.
like 1 foot out the
Exactly.
door.
He doesn't care. He said he wouldn't go to Charlotte. If Paul George was like, if Charlotte was one of the options, I wouldn't have went there because my career would be over if I go to Charlotte. Like, what is this guy even talking about? Your career looks like it's over right now, man.
Yeah.
And choosing the Sixers over Charlotte for a winning organization, that's what he said. I don't know, bro.
We got Joel Embiid.
I mean, dude, Paul George, I think he will have a little bit better of a season. You know what I mean? Because I think at the time, I don't know if I'm rewriting history, but I think the expectation was him to be an elite third option and at least better than Tobias Harris. He was the best catch and shoot player in the league the year before we signed him that offseason. And he was elite as a three-point shooter, still a great defender. And Tobias Harris, he can really do none of that. The Knicks were sagging off of him. They did not care if he got his dinky little 12 to 10 points as long as they gave Joel Embiid hell. I think if you had Paul George, that elite third option, it would take, the Sixers would be taken a lot more seriously. But I've been super disappointed with it. But I think he's going to have a better season. But just with his injury issues and stuff, it is not a good situation having pretty much the two worst contracts in the league at this point.
Yeah. Come on, bro. The Hornets are terrible. The Sixers won 24 games last season, man. And I say that the 76ers have a good roster right now if Joel Embiid is healthy, and that's because I know that healthy Joel Embiid makes you a contender no matter who's on your team. But at the same time, I don't expect him to be healthy, and we won 24 games last year, and Paul George has had knee surgery again. How are we not the Hornets? We are literally the Hornets, dude.
Probably in a worse situation. Well, no, I don't know about worse situation. But,
that's what I think.
We still got Maxey. We still got Jared McCain. So.
Those picks, you had edge
So,
go.
I don't know what picks the Hornets have, but, Paul George, he's an underrated facilitator. I think he's a good passer. He's a solid rebounder. His defense is solid. I'm not gonna say it's very elite, but he's he the best defender on our team right now?
Yeah, he's still a really good defender when he's healthy.
Yeah, when he's healthy. That's the problem. He ain't never healthy, so it's kind of like.
I think VJ, if he gets minutes, he could low-key be the best defender on this team. And Mike, you mentioned that you thought Paul George was a good rebounder. That made me think.
Yeah.
Would it make sense for them to start him at power forward? I don't know, man. I don't know about power forward, with the lineups and stuff. I don't think he's more suited at the three. I think you could get Trendon Watford. Dude, Jabari Walker, he's on a two-way, but the dude, he rebounds. He rebounds the basketball. You need that next Embiid at this point. He's never really been a great rebounder. And you already have that elite shot making with Maxey or Grimes. Probably he's most likely going to be starting. And then Paul George, if he's good, if he's just a better version of Tobias Harris, you have three great floor spacers. And Embiid, he could hit a three from time to time. I don't know, since just the politics thing, because Jabari's on a two-way, he's definitely not going to start at the four. But I'd probably have at least Trendon Watford some more.
Well, let's do
depends on the matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah. Depends on the match. Yeah. Well, that's what I thought about Nick Nurse, but he doesn't make lineups based on matchup because he started Yabusele at center against what's his name at the Kings, and the guy had 24 rebounds, and we knew that was going to happen. Sabonis. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. His lineups are not based on matchup whatsoever.
Remember when Doc Rivers put Paul Millsap on Giannis? What do you think was going to happen? I'm not trying to sound like I know everything, but how can you be coaching in the NBA for that long?
Let's do that. Let's do that before we get out of here. Let's do a way too early, if healthy, starting lineup for the Philadelphia 76ers off the top. If healthy, and assuming they re-sign Quentin Grimes, what's the starting lineup?
All right. I got Jared McCain at the 1, Tyrese at the 2. At the 3, Quentin Grimes. At the 4, Paul George. Joel Embiid at the 5.
What I think Nick Nurse is going to have it. He's going to have Maxey at the 1, Grimes at the 2, Oubre probably at the 3, Paul George or probably PG at the 3, Oubre at the 4, interchangeable, and then Embiid at the 5. What I want it to be Maxey at the 1, Grimes at the 2, George at the 3, Jabari Walker or Trendon Watford at the 4, and Embiid at the 5. I think you have enough floor spacing, and you need someone who is young, has fresh legs under them. Trendon Watford, he is a great passer as well. He's kind of a little bit of a below average rebounder, and I think he averaged like almost like 4 last season with the Nets. But Jabari Walker, man, that's his main thing is rebounding, and he's not decrepit, and
You like him.
he's not that good. I mean, I think
You like him.
I mean the Sixers, dude, they're finally. I think re-signing Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry is ridiculous, but I think by Daryl Morey standards, the fact that he actually took a step to sign some younger guys who aren't really as proven. Now Jabari Walker, because guys like Kamara and Denny Avdia, they were getting a lot of minutes last season. Walker kind of got phased out of the rotation. And who knows? Daryl Morey, he knows how to pick up those hidden gems, whether it's, Oubre, who was almost exiled from the NBA. Let's not forget that. And like Gershon Yabusele too, Justin Edwards. Morey, he's good at doing that. And I think I really want to see Jabari Walker and Watford get some time, and maybe they will boom and become great role players.
Yeah, I think the Trendon Watford thing is huge, man. I'm really glad they signed him. I hope you're right about Jabari Walker. I don't know too much about him. I hope you're right about him too. And I hope Nick Nurse uses him if they have that ability. You know what I mean? Nick Nurse is just not a coach I have any faith in after what he did last season. And I think people that didn't watch every game and just look at it because they weren't really watching it, and they said, well, everybody was hurt. What was he supposed to do? I'm like, you weren't watching it, bro, because
Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, 3-guard lineups.
We watched some ridiculous stuff. We saw a 4-guard lineup. He had
YMCA.
Lowry, Maxey, Gordon, and Reggie on the floor at the same time, dude. He did some wild stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I think Nick Nurse is going to have, he's going to have Maxey 1, Grimes at the 2, Oubre at the 3, Paul George, Joel Embiid. I think that's going to be it too, if healthy, and if they sign Quentin Grimes. And you said what you would like is Maxey, Grimes. What did you say?
Paul George at the 3, and then either Watford or Jabari Walker. Yeah,
Or
Oubre off
Walker.
the bench. Because, dude, you have no rebounding in that starting lineup. You know what I mean? You got no rebounding. You have guys who can rebound, but you need that in the starting lineup, and I just don't know. I mean, we need guys on this team who are going to have their skill sets maximized. We're always talking about Tyrese Maxey and whether he's the true point guard or not. I think, or whether he could even be a franchise player, but they got to at least try and build him a competent roster first in order to do that. I think Jared McCain, we need to see more of him as a lead ball handler to see if he can be a facilitator. I think he definitely showed flashes. I think some more bigger sample size would be nice. But I think having Maxey be primarily a scorer, that's best for him. Having Paul George at this point of his career be a better Tobias Harris, just stand in the corner and hit those catch and shoot threes, that would be nice. I don't want Paul George to be the guy going diving for all these rebounds and stuff. Of course, hustle and stuff, but let's leave that to the guys with some legs under them, like a Jabari Walker, Trendon Watford, a Dembona as well. He has to be the backup center. I don't think that you can really do a Twin Towers of I know, but still. I wish he will.
Yeah. Jared McCain needs point guard time. And last year I saw him on the floor with another ball handler too many times. He was on the floor with Kyle Lowry. People talk about, well, he only averaged like 4.7 assists. He was playing him at shooting guard the whole season. I remember Nick Nurse saying straight up, we're probably gonna put Jared at the 2. And then we'll have Maxey and Lowry at the 1, and then you might see Jared at the 1 sometime. I'm like, why is he so obsessed with Kyle Lowry at point guard? I'm telling you, bro.
Loves him. Loves him. That's his guy, man.
I think Jared McCain didn't get enough time with on ball and playing the actual point guard position last year to really show what he can do. I definitely saw flashes of it too. Yeah. So,
Oubre, it depends. Is Justin Edwards, is he sort of, at least in my scenario with Oubre not starting, of course. So, we're going to think about the bench unit. You're going to have McCain, hopefully, VJ Edgecombe, hopefully, I guess, or maybe one of Lowry or Gordon, realistically, and then some backup center, Andre Drummond or Adem Bona. So, I think Ricky Council, are we done with Ricky Council? I think the battle now, it's between Oubre and Justin Edwards, who's going to be that other wing player. I think at this point, man, I don't really know what Oubre's role in this team is going to be. If you have Justin Edwards, I think he's a lot smarter. I think he's a lot more capable as a shooter.
He got his games where Kelly looks really good, and he got these games where it's just he's trying to drive on 4 defenders. It's like, dude, this guy's wide open right there. Yeah. Pass him the ball. Yeah. And he just turns the ball over. I love Kelly's defensively. He might not be the most athletic dude, but he he attempts to play defense, and I love his enthusiasm when he does make a block. It's so funny to me. But I really would like to see. I hope they don't forget about Justin Edwards too, because I think he showed a lot last season. And Ricky Council, I'm sorry, I think he's the odd man out. I just want to see. I want to see the best players play. You know what I mean, and I don't think Ricky Council is that guy. So hopefully,
I think what you're gonna see. I think we saw a lot of things last year because everyone got hurt. We saw guys step up, and I think what you're gonna see is Nick Nurse say, "All right, everybody's healthy. Let's go do it." And he's gonna play the guys that were supposed to be playing last year, who is Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre, and he's not really gonna play the dudes that we saw step up in when everybody was injured. I'm serious. These guys think they're going to win a championship, and I don't see him thinking Justin Edwards is a guy that is going to help them win a championship right now. So
then you're taking away the athleticism from the team. If you're going to play all these old dudes, you know what I mean? I want to see a opponent. Yeah, exactly.
What's changing Nick Nurse from doing the same thing he did last year? What's changing it? You know, I mean, Daryl Morey sitting down with him and saying, "Hey, man, stop playing the old slow guys and put the young guys in there." Like, no, Nick Nurse doesn't seem like the type of guy that listens to anybody. You know, I won championships in a British league. I won an NBA championship. I won a NBDL, it was at the time, championship. I'm the winning coach. Don't tell me what to do. He's so similar to Doc Rivers. It's unbelievable, and I don't see him. I don't see him changing anything about the way he does things. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think was Doc Rivers actually better than Nick Nurse? Because at least from what I remember, I think Doc Rivers, he was better when he had less star players on his team. You know what I mean? Like when he had to like shake Mill and taking control of the ball and stuff and really facilitating. When they had less guys, I think he was probably better suited for that as opposed to having James Harden and Embiid run the show. Right. But I mean, yeah, Nick Nurse, those tendencies, I mean, Mike, you mentioned that you want to see the best players on the court. But for Nick Nurse, I think he wants to see the most experienced players on the court, even if they're not as talented, because I guess he just values that so much. I mean, I greatly disagree with that. I think, you know, I mentioned the OKC Thunder, all these playoff teams, the Pacers, they have veterans. Sixers fans, our problem is not having veteran experience. Our problem is that, you know, we have too many guys who are decrepit and can't play. You know what I mean? Like that's just a story, dude, man.
I want to tell you, I love the word decrepit, dude. It makes me laugh every time you say it. I love it so much. But Vince says, I don't think Nurse has a long leash anymore. Here's what I think, dude. Nick Nurse looked so frustrated last year. He looked so frustrated, and he probably felt like, I'm assuming that he felt like, I was supposed to have Joel Embiid and Paul George, and we were supposed to be a championship-level team. I'm known as a championship-level coach. And you got to remember the egos these people have, and they don't want their reputation to be tarnished because of other circumstances that they weren't in control of. He was probably halfway over it last year, you know? And if they come out... I don't blame him, honestly. And if you say
last year was terrible.
I know, but you say Vince said Nurse doesn't have a long leash anymore. If the front office or ownership is like, hey, man, you don't have a long leash anymore. If you don't do this, you're getting fired. You know what he's going to say? Fucking fire me then. I'm the championship winning coach. I'll go somewhere else. I don't need to be here and do this. I'm saying what I think his perspective probably is. I don't see him changing anything about the way he does things. And if the Sixers ownership wants it to change, I think he's going to say, fire me. And then they're going to fire him. I think that's honestly what's going to happen. I've seen it. I think he has too big of an ego to back up and be like, oh, I should change the way that I do things for the 76ers because this, and that. I don't see him doing it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like my point was, I don't think Sixers fans, our problem is it's not that we don't value veteran leadership. It's not that. It's just that we have seen for the longest time guys who are valued for their veteran leadership, but just cannot produce on the court. And of course, you know, you have like the Heat, you know, Udonis Haslem filling that like player coach type of role. I think, you know, like locker room wise, because we don't really know what's going on in the locker room other than, you know, some guy snitching or whatever. But I think that's important, you know, having that, you know, stable experience, someone who's been there, you know, to really, you know, calm everyone down, I guess, in heated playoff moments. I mean, we don't really know what's going on in the locker room. I think that's important. But at this point, when you have Joel Embiid, his injury problems, Paul George, his injury problems, you can't be supplying them with guys who just cannot play anymore. Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, they simply cannot guard the perimeter. Eric Gordon, you know, when he got his like wisdom teeth removed or something. Like he was good like for a spurt, but you can't just shoot 40% from three anymore and not do anything else, man. Like you need to be able to do more things on the court. We need a more versatile team. We need a younger team, and we just need a team with guys who can produce. And Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, of course, they bring valuable wisdom and experience because they've been in the NBA for a while. And I probably, if to fill that Udonis Haslem role, I would have kept Lowry over Gordon because he's been there. He won a championship. He has still, he knows he obviously has a very high basketball IQ, knows how to get it done, but he can't be playing anymore. They
might still trade Eric Gordon, right? Like he had a player option. He agreed to waive it to sign to save them cap space this season. So they were kind of stuck with him anyway because he's not going to waive a $5 million player option for no reason or whatever it was. He's going to take the money. So I guess they could still trade Gordon. We
got to figure something out because they're two veterans that just don't have anything left, and it's just like you're just taking up spaces on the roster that we could use for younger players that have athleticism. So we got to figure something out. But it really comes down to just like coaching, man. Like, just don't play them. They're on the team. Just don't play them. That's all it. Listen, that's what it comes down to. You see Kyle Lowry, just don't play him. You sit on the end of the bench. Don't even get up.
You know how I know Sixers players don't watch film? Because if Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon watched film of themselves driving to the rim last year, they would have been like, "Damn, I should retire, bro." That's what I look like. They don't even come off the ground, bro. Lowry's driving in there, throwing the ball up, not coming off the ground. He looks like a 7-year-old shooting at a Fisher-Price rim when it comes to the size of NBA players and the fact that he can't jump anymore. And they're just swatting the shit out of bounds without even jumping and laughing at him. I'm like, how are these guys still doing this to themselves?
And you said that about Paul George, too. I remember you saying that in one of your lives. You was like, look, Paul George can't even make a layup. Well, I think that was you.
He had some bad missed layups last year where he didn't
Couldn't
come off
get
the
up.
ground. But at
What's
least
with Sixers players and not hitting layups?
At least Paul George was injured. Kyle Lowry and those dudes are just old.
Washed. They're just washed.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've tried to defend Daryl Morey to an extent because, I mean, Daryl Morey, like, can't wave a magic wand and let Embiid's injuries go away and stuff. And, I mean, like, the last year's offseason, of course, I think every signing, has its risks. And I think even if you go the role player route, like, you still have Joel Embiid, who's not healthy. And I did say, I think, in that 2024 season when he was going off, they had a bunch of smart role players. The Sixers, they're 26-7. They seem to really be figuring it out and going in a new direction. But Morey, he decided to go with the star. Of course, Paul George, I mean, it's so Sixers that Paul George, he pretty much had one of the healthiest seasons of his career, was an all-star caliber player, puts on a Sixers uniform, and then, everything goes downhill. But the Paul George signing, I understand that more than the Joel Embiid extension. And Daryl Morey, he's tried to, like, remember with, like, Isaiah Joe and Charles Bassey, like, he tried to get those guys, inject them into the lineup, and, urge Doc Rivers to play them, but he just wasn't doing it. He was giving them, like, Doc was playing DeAndre Jordan, Paul Millsap. Like, you would think that he would learn the same thing with Nick Nurse.
But
you know what I mean?
Morey,
Daryl Morey keeps giving. That's the thing. Like, I try to defend Morey, and I liked him for signing Jabari Walker and Trendon Watford, but he knows that Nick Nurse is going to defer to his veterans. So why would you keep supplying him with veterans? I mean, he admitted himself that he thought that, veterans would be better for the team as opposed to younger guys. He admitted that, it was pretty false to believe that, but he kept doing it anyway. He was giving Nick Nurse the chance. You know what I mean? Like, imagine, they found a way to, dish out, let Gordon go and he trade him away or something, not re-sign Lowry. Nick Nurse wouldn't have a choice but to play these younger guys. But Morey, he kind of, dropped the ball a little bit and giving Nick Nurse a reason to continue to do what he's doing.
I think it's Daryl Morey's fault, though, because that's why you hire the guy that's going to play the young dudes that you draft. Why would you hire a guy just for the big name? I understand. I know right now we're in the situation where we're trying to win now because of Joel Embiid's injury prone. I understand that. But you got to find the guy that's going to actually play the young players that you draft. And it shouldn't take injuries with players that are washed like Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, and Kyle Lowry. When they all get hurt, you find out we do have a young point guard that we just drafted with the 16th overall pick. Let's play him now. and then he turns out to be possibly the rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. It's just like Daryl Morey has to take accountability, and when it comes to him picking Nick Nurse to be the next coach, because I mean, we all heard it. I was hearing it from a lot of Toronto fans, and Nick Nurse was not going to play the young players, and we witnessed it last year. And then Bona didn't even get the opportunity until when Andre Drummond got. Everybody had to get hurt. All the veterans had to be hurt in order for him to play the young talent on the roster. So,
do you know how much Daryl Morey's like not just his job right now, but his job, maybe his future job opportunities as a president of basketball operations? Do you realize how much all of that is on the line? Because if this doesn't work, he's the guy that signed Paul George and Joel Embiid until 2029 and strapped the Sixers for 5 years. So if this really doesn't work out, other NBA teams, are they going to be like, we should get Daryl Morey, the guy that signed those guys on those really bad contracts, and they were old and hurt and strapped the Sixers for years? I think he's putting all of his eggs into one basket when he signed those two contracts as like his future as a president of basketball operations or a GM or whatever. I don't know, man. I think Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey, everybody might get tired of this job that they're currently doing, and they're getting closer to like 60 years old. Bro, everybody might just retire. Everybody might just say, you know what? The Sixers can just be, I'm just done doing this. Maybe Nurse, maybe Daryl Morey, maybe everybody just retires. Maybe Joel Embiid and Paul George all at the same time. Maybe all four of them retire at the same time. I don't know, man. I don't see a positive ending for any of this, man. I wish I did. I wish I did, man. Mike Sports Vibes Ballin. They should sign Mike. I bet he can defend better than Kyle Lowry. Throw Eastwood a two-way, get buckets in Delaware. Well, Nick, I want to tell you this, man. I've been riding a mountain bike recently, the past couple of weeks, and my right knee hurts right now. My right knee is sore right now. So I fit the criteria for 76ers veteran player. I have a sore right knee. I'm out for 6 weeks. I will be reevaluated soon, and I'll start ramping up for my return to play. So I'm down. I got the sore knee.
Just pay us the money, though. Pay us the money. Don't forget that. Yeah. Pay us the money.
I don't need $50 million, bro. I'll take $100,000. Give me $100,000.
Give me whatever you can give me. Give me whatever you can give me. You know what I mean? Just make sure
it's if I get a 10-day, I'm gonna investigate the team just to see who leaked it. Like, everyone's saying it's Eric Gordon, but I mean, he is innocent until proven guilty. Do you guys think it's Eric Gordon? I honestly have no idea.
I heard rumors about Kelly.
Why do they think it was Eric Gordon anyway? Eric Gordon replied to somebody on Twitter too and said, "I'm going on my 18th year. That's not my reputation. Yeah. You guys are just talking shit." So, he defended himself on Twitter. Right, why do people think it's Eric Gordon?
No.
Maybe it's either like, I think everyone got the impression that he just hated playing with the Sixers last year. And I don't think because of all the minutes he was getting, how bad he was, like, I think like there's just a conflict. I think these players, they do surf the internet. You know what I mean? I think they do know what everyone is saying about them. So I think that's sort of just boiled over. I have no idea, to be honest, who did it. I mean, but like, here's my thing. Like in the article, Embiid said he knew that. You know what I mean? Like he said he knew it. And Eric Gordon was, even if he didn't do it, even if Eric Gordon was not the guy who snitched, why would you not trade him anyway when you have Embiid? Well, at least what the consensus is that it was him who did it. And Embiid, like, he still has this conflict with the organization. It's like it was subtle. He didn't directly like attack the front office for bringing like Eric Gordon specifically back, but he did say, I do know who leaked it. And he might still be around or whatever. Because of course he wasn't going to just outright reveal who it was. But I don't know, like they could have just saved themselves the headache. It's not like Eric Gordon was worth keeping back. I mean, like he disappointed me last year. I thought honestly, dude, like I thought just with his ability to shoot from the perimeter, and I thought he still had something left in the tank. I think he was good with the Suns. We signed him from the Suns. I thought he still had something left. And like him playing like 10 minutes a game, he could be just, as long as he was better than Furkan Korkmaz, I'd be fine with it. But he just got way too big of a role, and he was kind of more washed than I thought.
I think I know who the snitch was. Here's my theory on who the snitch was. The snitch was an accident, but it was Tyrese Maxey. The snitch accidentally was Tyrese Maxey because Tyrese Maxey is the one that called him out in the meeting about being late to practice and not being a leader, and we need more leadership from you. And then Tyrese Maxey went and told Rich Paul that he said that, not thinking Rich Paul was going to tell anybody.
Oh man!
And
Rich Paul back to the Ben Simmons days.
Rich Paul, being the agent that he is, went and leaked it because his interest as an agent is to get his guy to be the number one guy to make the most money on his next contract. And if I leak this, maybe down the line it ends up, Joel Embiid wants out, and then my guy Tyrese Maxey is the guy. It was Rich Paul by way of Tyrese Maxey without knowing Rich Paul was going to leak it. I think it was Rich Paul.
You thought that through.
Plot twist right there. I never heard of that one.
I keep seeing Kelly Oubre. What's up with is it because it's kind of weird? Like, what's up with Kelly? Like, is it a lot of people keep talking about Kelly Oubre Jr.
There are a lot of passionate opinions about Kelly Oubre.
What's going on with Kelly Oubre Jr., man?
I don't think there's any middle ground with him. Like, you either like him or you just completely detest him. I think, I don't know what his role is going to be with the Sixers, but when he at least accepted his player option, we just some Sixers fans were acting like it was just like Armageddon, bro.
This guy thinks Drummond was the snitch because Embiid used to bully Andre Drummond when he played in Detroit, and he still secretly hates him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I have a question, man.
But no, Rich Paul's the snitch. I think he really is. I think it was Rich Paul, man. And I don't think Maxey knew he was going to tell anyone. But you got to think about Rich Paul, man. He had a come up that was uncommon. He's a hustler, and he knows how to get where he wants to go. He became an agent by meeting LeBron James in an airport. He was selling jerseys in an airport. Story. I'm not even shitting on that, but he was selling jerseys in an airport, and he ended up being an NBA agent. He knew.
That's what's up.
He knows how to get where he wants to go.
Right.
And I think he knows how to plant little things if he wants something to happen. And for his guy to be the guy, Rich Paul was the snitch. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Oh, man, I was just thinking, who was available that the Sixers could have signed before they signed Paul George? Who was, the role players that we could have possibly signed instead of Paul George? There wasn't no stars availed. I can't even think off the top of my head. Was Jimmy Butler?
It was Contavious Caldwell-Pope and Luke Kennard and
I think OG Anunoby actually, but there was a conflict. The Knicks obviously signed it, but there's if you think about it, I think there was a huge conflict with Nurse and OG,
oh yeah, that's
it wasn't
right.
that loud, but I think Giannis, there was a story that Giannis, he consulted Pascal Siakam and OG because Nick Nurse, he was one of the finalists to be the Bucks coach. Before when Nick Nurse got fired, he was a candidate to be the Bucks coach, but apparently Giannis talked to Siakam and OG and they didn't have good things to say about Nurse. So I don't think he would have wanted to come to Philly because of having Nick Nurse as the coach. But Luke Kennard, I guess it was a terrible free agency class. And KCP, he was a good fit with the Sixers, but he was just trash with the Magic last year. I don't know.
Here are the names. Here are the names. I got it. Not Pascal Siakam. He was traded he was traded and then he re-signed, right, with the Pacers. DeMar DeRozan, Klay Thompson, OG Anunoby, Tobias Harris, Tyus Jones, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Clay's washed. DeMar DeRozan's kind of washed.
DeMar DeRozan.
Everyone on that list is kind of washed. I'm not gonna lie.
Luke Kennard was there, and
backup center Hartenstein, backup center.
You would have been nice.
You could have overpaid Hartenstein.
I would have loved him to be backup center.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Leave it to the Sixers to have all that cap space and be in that situation. And if Daryl Morey didn't do anything that offseason, the fan base was gonna, be mad at him. So he signed Paul George. He knew the Embiid timeline was running out. This is our best chance to win.
Desperate.
I don't know, man.
Had to do it, right? Didn't have to do it, but he did it. So. Yeah.
All right, man. Listen, hey, we've been up here for almost 2 hours, man. We've been chopping it up, covering everything, man. Thank you guys for hanging out. Anything else you guys want to say, man? Anything else you want to say?
I just have no idea how to think about next season. I mean, I'm glad we have VJ Edgecombe. I mean, we have a clear vision of the future. It's just that I feel like next season it's going to be a good rebound or it's over. Like, I think next season, I mean, we say this literally every single year, but I think this is going to be the most important season in the entire Joel Embiid era.
Yeah, I think so too.
I second that notion with the Joel Embiid, the most important all season his whole career. You know what I mean? Hopefully he can start the season healthy. Be optimistic and that happens. Speaking into existence, health. And then, but my whole thing is I ain't gonna sit here in front, man. I'm just disappointed in just like already we got one of our highest paid players, Paul George, getting surgery. You know what I mean? It's just like we already starting bad. You know what I'm saying?
About that, yeah.
And it's just like, dang, like they didn't give us no real timetable. I think before training camp, they said they're going to reevaluate him. So it's like, it just sucks because how long is it going to? He's going to ramp up. He's going to exercise, strengthen his knee. How long is that going to take him before he's able to play at the level that we need him to play at the max money that we're paying him? How long is it going to take him to get there? Because this is the last year for well, it's not. He's under contract. So, but you know, I don't know. This sucks, man. But I am looking forward.
It feels like it's the last year because you're like, there's no way this could happen again if this doesn't work out, right? It feels like it's the last year.
But I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to Paul
George. The thing with the Paul George knee surgery is that he could have the surgery, he could be healthy when the season starts, and then guess what? Paul George is out with knee swelling. You know, then we're back to this thing where he had surgery, it worked out, it's all good, but he has knee swelling from surgery complications, and we're just down this road of 35-year-olds who pile up injuries until they retire. That's what happens, right? You get tired of going through rehab every year, and you're like, I'm done. I made enough money. I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like Paul George is kind of already there. He'd rather podcast than even do anything. So I don't know. I think him and Joel Embiid probably medically retire in the next 2 years.
I mean, look, just to play devil's advocate, it was the same doctor who helped Embiid and PG. It was the same doctor who helped fix Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi, he was, having a good end to the season, was decent in the playoffs. So I like
Kawhi.
I wish things could be different. I wish Embiid and Paul George can be healthy. I wish I could still think that we could win with Embiid at the helm. I just don't think. I think enough is enough. I think next season is going to be a huge turning point for the Sixers.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. Shout out to NZ for 3 and Mike Sports Vibes Ballin. Subscribe to both of their YouTube channels if you haven't already. Shout out to everybody over on their YouTube channels watching and listening. And we'll do this again. Let's do it next week, man. What do you guys think?
I'm down for sure.
I'm down.
There's definitely going to be some new storylines and things to talk about. This is a VH1 show at this point.
It's not going to be basketball related either. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all, man. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.
All right.
Peace.